How's up, y'all? What's poppin'? This D-Boss react to this video by Hip Hop Madness. This is the biggest fall offs in rap history. Damn, Fetty Wap. Fetty Wap. He fell off so hard, and that fall off made it so terrible because he got so big. Like, his songs were huge, and he had so many songs like that were huge that were out at the same time. He had like 4 hits on the radio at the same time. Like, I ain't never heard that. Well, Drake's come close, but I feel like Fetty Wap was really like popping, and then he fell off tragically. Anyway, that's anytime I think of a fall off, he has the most epic fall off I've ever encountered. But we're gonna see what other fall offs they have on this video. Let's watch.
In a world where viral sensations are memorialized in tweets, people are claiming that Chance the Rapper is beginning to fall off. After his debut album, The Big Day, received mixed reviews and sold 108,000 copies in its first week. Well, it seems like the definition of falling off is what needs to be discussed. The simple understanding of falling off is an artist not hitting the heights they used to hit, either commercially or critically. The term is often applied to A-list artists by fans who have grown frustrated with an artist's direction or critics looking to mock an artist, like people who dislike Kanye West's music after graduation. Those frustrations may be valid, but truly falling off describes a more serious decline in the artist's career.
Right.
While some artists inflate their expectations themselves, most artists who get teased for falling off usually have big past achievements to live up to. They may also find themselves stuck in situations that keep them from continuing success. Everyone knows the stories of MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice. But what about more serious hip-hop acts of the past, such as Ja Rule, or recent one-year sensations such as Fetty Wap? Let's go ahead and break down 8 of the strangest fall-offs in hip-hop history. At number 7, we have Designer, the notoriously high-energy rapper from New York who exploded onto the scene with his number 1 hit single, Panda, in 2016, pushing Rihanna and Drake's work out of the top spot. Designer is an unfortunately good example of an artist who rose faster than they could grow. Along with the issue of presenting his future's clone, the massive Atlanta influence in his sound, memeable personality, and link up with good music ensured Designer's victory in 2016, but also put a lot of pressure on his follow-up work. Despite his enormous 2016, Designer simply couldn't resist the hip-hop community enough to continue receiving attention. His debut mixtape, New English, received mixed reviews, mostly criticized for its lack of originality, despite great production and a nice hook here and there. His follow-up project, Life of Designer, in 2018, had much of the same impact. The energy and potential hits were there, but a lack of sonic distinction from other artists, coupled with extremely repetitive lyrics, even by trap standards, left them in the same undefined, unoriginal space people placed him in when he first emerged. At 22 years of age and only 2 projects in, it seems like there's still time for Designer to find himself and make artistic progress. But coming out of the gate with a massive hit and joining one of rap's premier labels put much more pressure on Designer than he was capable of responding to. At number 6, we have Fetty Wap, another recent artist who popped up with hits and stopped just as quickly. Starting with Trap Queen, Fetty was able to land 3 top 10 songs on the Billboard Hot 100, also including My Way and 679 between 2014 and 2015. Along with the single Again, he had 4 top 10 hits on Billboard's hip-hop R&B chart during that span. His ability to make hard-hitting songs that were also for the ladies, plus his distinct voice and humbling eye issue, made him a lovable figure in hip-hop. To top it all off, his self-titled debut album went number 1 on the Billboard 200 with 129,000 copies sold, including an impressive 75,000 in pure sales. The album received mainly positive reviews, with critics saying his songwriting formula and melodic sense were unique and enjoyable. Unlike Designer, Fetty Wap's breakout hits garnered critical praise. Even better, Fetty's follow-up work lived up to the hype and his huge singles. But just like Designer, the New Jersey artist soon found himself creatively stuck. Later, Fetty projects such as RGF Island and For My Fans series found him trying to recreate the magic of his initial run using the same formula. He found it a couple times, notably with songs like Jimmy Choo, Wake Up, and his feature on 6ix9ine's Kiki, but his rediscovery of his 2015 magic was too infrequent. Fetty Wap remains likable, and the hip-hop world would probably celebrate a strong comeback of his. But staying at the top requires an artist to either change the product or find appealing ways to repackage the same product. In a world where Tyga blew up, fell off, and came back harder than ever, all before the age of 30, there's a chance Fetty can reverse his own downfall. Until then, it's sad to say Fetty Wap's best days in music are behind him.
Comeback
I love MCCONN's ascension from blogger and MySpace rapper to hottest OVO signee was a pretty straight line. MCCONN met Mike Will Maiden in Atlanta in 2012.
Did he come on as gay?
He was introduced to Sonny Digital via Mike Will in 2014. Sonny Digital went on to produce MCCONN's breakout hits, I Don't Sell Molly No More, and Tuesday, with Tuesday catching Drake's ear and leading to a remix version featuring the Toronto rapper, taking the track to greater heights. MCCONN soon signed with Drake's OVO Records in September 2014. But almost as soon as MCCONN secured a chance at a big music career, it slowly started to slip from his hands. In a late 2015 interview with The Fader, he expressed disappointment at his single Second Chance being delayed past the summer and having to be independently released rather than getting the OVO stamp of approval. He also expressed frustration with extra bull in the industry that remained vague. Between 2016 and 2018, a weird mixture of things involving MCCONN happened, including leaving OVO, coming out as gay, announcing a shift towards acting, then continuing to drop new music, including a single with the late artist Lil Peep and XXXTentacion. It's yet to be determined if MCCONN will forever be remembered for one song, a sour record deal, and his sexual orientation.
That song was really annoying.
But it's disappointing to know that these circumstances have overshadowed his unique and entertaining sound. At number 4 is another memorable artist who succumbed to industry setbacks, Rich Homie Quan. Of the melodic trap artists that emerged in the 2010s decade, it's fair to say Rich Homie Quan is among the most talented of them all. His couple of years in the limelight were highlighted by his solo hits Type of Way and Flex, and the dynamic duo he formed with fellow AT-Alien, Young Thug, on projects such as The Tour Part 1 as part of Rich Gang. Along with solo success and a successful partnership with Thug, Quan landed several heavy-hitting features on YG's My and Yo Gotti's I Know. Unfortunately, beef with his close friend Thugger and a messy business with his label Think It's a Game, leading to a $2 million lawsuit, slowed Quan's momentum considerably. The tour that was supposed to happen after the tour Part 1 never happened, and despite the success of Flex, it was overshadowed by the viral dance song inspired by Rich Homie Quan's dance moves in the Flex video, titled Hit the Quan by I Love Memphis. His most recent project, Back to Basics, released in 2017, and to favorable reviews. But the window of opportunity for Rich Homie seems to have barely cracked open at this point, if open at all. At number 3 is a New York rapper named Troy Ave. Troy served as an example of an artist whose falling off was largely his own doing, rather than by outside forces. In case you didn't know, Troy Ave was buzzing enough to make XXL's freshman cover in 2014, and was looked at with anticipation as an updated version of the classically gridded New York City rap star. Unfortunately for Troy, his story in the public eye doesn't go much further than that. To put it plainly, Troy dug his own grave with several out-of-pocket statements during his come-up. In the late 2013 Hot 97 interview, he called Kendrick Lamar and Kanye West weirdo rappers. Despite clarifying that it wasn't a diss, his purest view of real rap, being limited to street rappers, garnered criticism. Still, his outdated critiques and nostalgic 90s East Coast vibe garnered more hype leading up to his debut album Major Without a Deal in 2015, an album Troy claimed was a classic, an album of the year. Even with features from Ty Dolla $ign, Rick Ross, T.I., and A$AP Ferg, among others, the album sold less than 5,000 copies in its first week. If he hadn't gassed himself up so much, these numbers as an independent artist could have been respected. Instead, it was laughed at across social media. Making matters worse for himself, his next 2 years were spent in an on and off beef with Joey Badass that peaked when he chose to criticize Joey's late friend and fellow Pro Era member Capital Steez for committing suicide. This lost the respect that Troy was given by much of the New York rap community. Despite a prolific output of music spanning 11 mixtapes, including the arrogantly titled New Pac, his debut album, hip-hop collectively moved on from Troy Ave. As fast and as furious as Iggy's fall from the spotlight was, there probably isn't a crazier example than of Ja Rule, when he fell from the top of the rap game between 2004 and 2005. Ja's story is exceptional
That's so fast
because his career pre-fall off is one of the greatest runs of dominance in hip-hop history. Prior to 2005, Ja Rule's career looked like this. 4 platinum albums, including 2 number ones on the Billboard 200, 6 top 10 singles on the US R&B hip-hop chart, 4 top 10s on the Hot 100, and 4 Grammy nominations. In the early years, Ja was a singular force pushing hip-hop and R&B into the mainstream. The sing rapper everyone could vibe to before Nelly and Drake. Ja's impressive 4-year run as hip-hop's premier
he was the first one doing that.
What makes his fall off among the worst in history.
Well, what I mean,
While he enjoyed commercial success with songs like Wonderful and New York in 2004, the hip-hop community's affinity for Ja turned into a strong aversion once 50 Cent rose to prominence. In a beef that started back in 1999,
they still beefing to this day. They need to stop.
50 and Ja were at each other's necks for hip-hop's rap throne, and by extension, the top spot in the game.
I don't know.
Despite Ja still doing numbers during the beef, there were too many factors working against him, including the damaging FBI raid of his label Murder Inc. and the sheer strength of his opponents, which included 50's greatest affiliate at the time, G-Unit, Dr. Dre, Eminem, and DMX. Some say Ja Rule was headed toward a decline without assistance from 50 and the Shady Aftermath squad. But the pressure of 50's hardened image, the financial losses of Murder Inc., and the hottest figures in hip-hop being in 50's corner dramatically shifted the public perception of Ja Rule. He released his 6th solo album, R.U.L.E., in 2004, and didn't release another album until 2012, with only a Murder Inc. project and a mixtape in between. While it's debatable if Ja Rule's beef with 50 was the lead cause off of his fall-off, it is undeniable that it quickened it altogether. And number 1 is an artist who potentially has the most confusing fall-off story of them all.
I'm confused.
B.O.B.
I don't know.
His fall-off happened in a couple of stages. First, after achieving massive success with his first 2 albums, The Adventures of Bobby Ray and Strange Clouds, he pivoted towards an edgier hip-hop sound to avoid being trapped as a pop crossover artist with his 3rd album, Underground Luxury, in 2013. The album received mixed reviews, with several critics noting confusion in how B.O.B. wanted to present himself. He also claimed to launch into rock music with an EP that never came. B.O.B.'s desire to maintain authenticity led to more introspective music that put his deeper thoughts on full display, leading to the next stage in his decline, coming out as a serious conspiracy believer. His controversial beliefs made him a laughingstock, including his belief in the flat earth theory, which led to an absurd beef with astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson that led to actual diss tracks being exchanged between the two. The stage of his career is perfectly captured in the mixtape Psychedelic Thoughts, released in 2015. With his pop stardom completely gone, B.O.B. continued to make music and came back strong in 2017 with his first solo album in 3.5 years, Ether. While he's yet to renounce any of his conspiracy theories, Ether was met with positive reviews and served as a reminder of his ability to balance rawness and pop friendliness in his music. He has dropped 3 studio albums since that really haven't made any serious waves, all assuring that B.O.B. will never get close to his multi-platinum peak in 2012. If this video says anything, it's that longevity in music is hard to come by. And there are many ways to fall off. Staying on top of cultural shifts, branding, and ultimately the music is a daring juggling act. Though many artists contribute to their own demise, the music industry also chews up and spits out many good-hearted, talented acts along the way. We're quick to call artists gods or garbage, but the base level of respect for most hip-hop artists who manage to be in the conversation for more than a year needs to be higher. This has been a Hip Hop Madness.
Dang, that is wild. I knew Fetty Wap was gonna be on here. He is the first person that I think of. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I can just imagine how depressing that is. For you to get so close to being this super successful artist and then just completely fall off to like nothing, to where your music is not being played nowhere, people aren't buying your shit, like your success just plummets. I can imagine that is like depressing as fuck. But it actually might be a bit more tragic in the cases where they had like long-term success and then they fall off like super hard, like Ja Rule. Like he had hella platinum albums, Grammys, and all type of shit, and you fall off that hard, like that's wild. But this was a really interesting video. Y'all let me know what y'all thought. Let me know what other videos you want me to react to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.